Hey guys, welcome back to another video. On this video I'm going to show you guys how to draw a trend line. It's just practice. So like I said, practice make perfect. The more you practice drawing trend line, the more perfect you become. Trend line is a very good strategy. I use trend line to trade. I also use trend line to draw my chart patterns, like triangle chart patterns. I also use the trend line to draw I also use trend lines to draw other patterns like descending trend, ascending trend, and all these other things. Anyways, let's go straight into it. With that said, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're new, please subscribe and make sure you like the video so that it can reach out to more people. This is how I draw my trend lines. Obviously, if I'm doing scalping or if I'm doing intraday trading, I always draw trend line from the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, but I always look at the weekly and the daily. But on this video I'll just be drawing trend line on the 1 hour time frame. That's how I always do. So this is what I will do. I'll click my trend line tool. These tools are always there in your MetaTrader 5. These tools are always present in your MetaTrader 5. I'll click my trend line tool, this one, and I will look for the tip at this point, draw it down like this. You hit the second tip, then that is it. This is a trend line. So this is the first trend line. Or I can see draw it like this. Okay, this is a trend line. Let me just try to organize it again. Let me delete it and do it again. You click the trend line tool, you start from the very tip at this point, you draw it down to the next point, and it goes like that. So this is the trend line. Actually, if you're using the trend line strategy, like I told you guys before, use this point is called the A part. So this is point A. This is point B. This is point A and this is point B. So in the trend line strategy, you need just 2 points. This is the first point and the second point. Once you have drawn these 2 points to connect these points, any other point right now that falls on the trend line is your entry point. So if I was in the market right now, I would have entered back in this day. So this is your first entry. You sell at this point. You sell here. And you sell here. Sorry, it's metatrader is you sell at this point, you sell at this point also. You can see it really respects the trend line. That's why most people, right, they use a trend line strategy because it's pretty easy and you don't have to waste your time with all these indicators which are sometimes are lagging, sometimes are leading, and you don't really know what you're doing. But if you're using good strategies like the trend line strategy, you can always have good entry and exit points in the market. But when you're drawing a trend line strategy, there are other things that you have to draw. Okay, like if I was drawing the trend line, because I've drawn a trend line and I know that this is a downtrend, it doesn't mean that I'm only gonna draw it for the downward direction. I also have to draw it for the upward direction, because sometimes it might decide to the trend may reverse and you might not know when the trend will reverse. So as you're drawing it for the downward direction to prove that this is a downtrend, you also have to draw it for the uptrend. So I'll start from the tip to this point. As you can see, this is it. This is it. Okay. So this is point A. Sorry guys, I think next time I'll use the trading view. This point A, this is point B, and this is point C, just right. So this is actually where you have to enter the buy order at this next bullish candle. This point, this is where you enter a buy order. As you can see, this in this trend right now, as you can see right now, according to price action, we could see how price has pushed and it has left to this point, which was a previous lower low, and it has gone to this point, which is a new higher high. And as you can see, price is kind of like trying to break the trend line. Now if price break this trend line, and if price balances up at this point, which is above the trend line, and also if price balances up at this point, let me just put the resistance over here, it might have to fall back down to the trend line, and before can see price going to the upward direction. So this is what is likely going to happen if price doesn't respect the trend line. If prices respect the trend line, then we may see price going back, breaking this trend line, coming down to this point. It might rise up a little bit, like a retracement, to hit the trend line, and then it goes back to the next demand zone. This is a demand zone. So that's what happens when you're doing with price action. You have to just do your analysis earlier on before you're trading. So with that said, as you can see, I'm just putting my different resistance and support zone. So as price is trying to move, we are just going to watch those zones and see what happens around those zones. So as you can see, I've drawn the trend line right here. I've taught you guys how to draw the trend line. Here we have a supply zone around this area. So I've drawn a trend line and I've taught you guys how to trade using the trend line. As you can see, we have this trend line and we have another trend line. Now these things form a triangle, if you know what I'm saying. If you go to insert objects and you come to lines, and you come to shape, you will see triangle. This thing forms a triangle. Sorry. Forms a triangle around here. Forms a triangle around here. So this is how I pretty much draw my triangles when I'm trading, so that I can see what happens next. If price is going to respect the triangle, then we're going to know what we're going to do. Yeah, so this is a triangle right here, which is about to form, and that's how I draw triangles. As you can see in this point also, we have another triangle which formed, but this was a descending triangle, so it break the previous support zone and it fell down to this direction. So that's pretty much how we're trading. We just do trend lines and we do support and resistance and also demand and supply to get into good positions. We close our positions and we're gone. Trading is not that difficult, and it doesn't have to be so complicated with all kinds of strategies, all kinds of indicators, all kinds of robots. That doesn't make sense. You just have to close your eyes and use your mind. Anyways, what do you think about this? Leave it down in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.